Hello, and welcome to MoJo JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the one and only Powerpuff Girls / JoJo's Bizarre Adventure recap and discussion podcast. I'm Raven.
And I'm Alison.
Today we are going to be discussing the Powerpuff Girls episodes Birthday Bash and Two Poops to Puff. The alliteration got me there a little. I can start talking about Birthday Bash because there's not any new news or anything. The city of Townsville at night. Everyone is sleeping except the villains, who are plotting and scheming in jail about ruining the Powerpuff Girls' birthday. MoJo monologues about sending a strange blue box. Princess Morbucks gets ready for her people to send her gift off. Meanwhile, the Amoeba Boys simply flush theirs down the toilet. Reporter Stanley Whitfield is on the scene reporting on the girls' special day. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm doing a silly voice. They use their X-ray vision to look at their gifts, but the professor says they can't open their presents until after cake. All three girls are equally impatient about getting to open their gifts, so they demand their birthday cake, but no singing. They blow out the candles so hard that the cake flies away. They immediately go to their giant setting of presents and unknowingly pick MoJo JoJo's gift to open. At the jail, MoJo gloats that they picked his gift, but the other villains aren't so sure it'll work and insist theirs will do the trick instead. As soon as the girls open MoJo's gift, a giant robot leaps out. It declares that it was sent by MoJo JoJo and says to enjoy their birthday, for it will be their last. The robot has extendable, stretchy arms, and the girls easily trick it into twisting itself into a pretzel. The other villains laugh at MoJo for failing. Next, the girls open Princess's gift, but there's nothing in it, except under the lid of the box is a bullseye. The adults all speculate about what it is and what it could mean, but the girls see princesses riding in the sky and realize that a missile is coming their way. Professor, Miss Keene, and the mayor toss the bullseye back and forth in horror until Bubbles snatches it away. They are able to throw the target up into the air away from everyone, and the missile explodes in the air. The Amoeba Boys' gift is next. But no one is worried this time because the Amoeba Boys are the most incompetent villains of all. And sure enough, their gift is a box of dolls. Well, voodoo dolls. But the Amoeba Boys didn't realize that they were supposed to keep the dolls to poke needles in, so the dolls are completely harmless. And I always coveted those things as a child. I wanted them to be real so bad. I was like, those are adorable little plushies. I would still like them if such a thing existed.
This is like besides the point, but like in Spanish class, like we were able to order, like the teacher, I don't know where they came from or like what the deal was, but like everyone wanted them and they were like little tiny, almost like little, like they were like this big, little voodoo doll looking things.
Yeah.
I feel like I had some or I wanted them anyway. I forget what I'm probably like harming someone's culture right now, but anyway, go ahead.
Then on the TV, mocking the other villains and their failure is him. He says he has a scheme that will destroy them for sure. He slinks around the party and whispers in Blossom's ears to tempt her to open his gift. It is a pinata shaped like a bowl, but it grows and grows until it's enormous and starts rampaging through the party, destroying the girls' gifts and nearly taking out their guests. The girls are able to distract the bowl and hoist up by a string over a water tower. It is dangling there, and Blossom grabs a tree to whack it open, but the professor tells her to wear a blindfold. Out from the pinata comes a shit ton of candy. The other villains are confused when him says he's won because the girls haven't been destroyed at all. But him says his plan all along was to give them cavities from the candy. Going for the long haul there. The girls apologize to everyone for how the party turned out, but they say it was the best party ever, except for the mayor, who says he has a toothache.
Then, because there was like a reporter there and the narrator, they both had to say, the day was saved.
Yes.
Here's these dolls. This is they're worry dolls from Guatemala.
Worry dolls, yeah. I think I actually had some of those myself.
So it almost seemed like him had hypnotized at least the girls and the professor, because him is like, the gift you didn't notice, and then the girls are like, the gift we didn't notice. And then something with, I think the professor was worried about them hitting the pinata, and him talked the professor into letting them hang it up and hit it.
Yeah.
It was like him had hypnotized them. Like Miss Bellum is at the party, but her face is hidden behind like a yellow balloon the whole time. And Rainbow is at the party. I'm not sure if was Rainbow taken to jail,
They took
or
him
did
to
they
jail.
just beat him up?
They beat him up and then said that he belonged in Sing Sing.
What's mean?
It was so mean. He didn't deserve that.
So I was just like, Rainbow is out of jail. That was my note. He's free. So this episode was fun. It was kind of like the prisoners were watching the coverage from jail, and then just like, I don't know, them trying to sabotage the party, and they did a really bad job. But just kind of them in a way teaming up, I guess, and
yeah. Yeah, it was just always an episode I thought was cute. I do wonder, however, how the Amoeba Boys even got put in jail, because even the last time they had an Amoeba Boy centric episode, they did not go to jail even though they made everyone sick.
yeah, and everything they did was just like, like I'm standing on the grass where it says not to stand. It wasn't, they never could seem to even, do a felony or whatever, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, they probably just got like picked up for jaywalking or something, and they're just like, yes, we're going to jail.
One thing, like where the group was about ready to sing Happy Birthday, and then Bubbles is like, no. At the time, I think it said on the wiki that the Happy Birthday song still had like a copyright on it. So a lot of TV shows at the time just did not sing Happy Birthday.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I just kind of thought it was just like show how impatient the children were for their prezzies. Kind of liked they were all impatient, because it's another thing where it kind of shows that they are small children after all. They're like 5 or 6 year olds. They're in kindergarten.
Yeah, and they're so excited by gifts. Like, they're superheroes, but it's still fun to get presents from their friends and everything.
Yeah. And even though it is their birthday, we don't really know how old they're turning. I think it just had like a couple candles on there. So it probably was just to like,
One for each of them or something.
yeah, and not like they're three now. In the background, we had a little cameo, or at least I think it was intended as a cameo. One of the people at the party had like the Princess Leia buns and the white dress.
Yeah. I don't think I saw it the second time we watched it, but I did see it yesterday.
Yeah. It would not be the first time they snuck some Star Wars references in there, of course.
Okay, so the next episode is season 2, episode 6, Too Pooped to Puff, which is a play on Too Pooped to Pop, I guess. I'm not really even sure that saying makes sense.
Yeah.
It was originally broadcast, as I always like to bring up, August 20th, 1999. So both these episodes, of course, are together. A bank is being robbed and the girls save the day. As the girls take the robbers out, they come upon lazy policemen not even trying to stop the robbers. Next, a tall building is completely on fire and all the tenants are screaming out their windows. The girls rescue them and put out the fire, but the firemen are just sitting around and want the girls to walk the fire dog. There are yells for help from the nuclear power plant, but they just need help changing a light bulb. A plumber has the girls fix a sink. The girls change a tire while the owner sits in his car. An old lady yells for help because the litter box needs cleaned. Citizens yell for help about a fly in their food. The mayor yells for help because he needs toilet paper, etc. Even the professor asks them to get him the remote. So he's kind of sitting there, like, just covered in snacks, and he's even got like the hat on with the
like I don't know what they're called exactly, but I think it is the beer hat.
Yeah, it's got like the two cans and then the straws coming down. And he can't move to get the remote, I guess, or he would knock everything over. But the girls are just over it.
Absolutely at their limit.
And they refuse to get him the remote, except Bubbles kind of feels guilty about it, so she just sort of drops it at his feet.
I thought that was her just being like petty, like, see, you still can't reach it.
I guess. The other two looked mad though, and then she's like, and then maybe she just kind of changed her mind then and dropped it on the floor. But so they go and lay on a cloud because they're tired of helping with all the little things that the townsvillians can do themselves. when a giant green lizard monster shows up, and the citizens largely ignore it at first. The lizard is breathing fire and taking large bites out of buildings. The mayor lazily tries to call the Powerpuff Girls, but only gets a message. The girls are wanting the citizens to figure it out for themselves when a lady spots them on the cloud. The girls tell the townsvillians to take care of the monster themselves. So, I mean, I think we both sort of called foul on this a little bit. Like, the other stuff was ridiculous.
Yes.
I sort of understand them asking for help with even the bank robbers and the fire because they are kind of immune from getting burnt and like shot by bullets. But the other stuff, like, oh no, help, there's a fly in my food, it was getting ridiculous. Like,
absolutely.
so when it comes to this big monster showing up, that's their normal superhero thing to do. So I kind of thought it was mean for them not to help.
Yeah.
I think they would have stepped in had the next thing not happen. So they tell them to take care of the monster themselves, and the citizens panic and run back and forth as a frantic mob, and the monster keeps following them, and he eventually gets all wrapped up in electrical wires. So he's trapped, basically. So I think the girls would have stepped in had he not gotten trapped.
Yeah.
Probably. But he's still alive, and they're like, you guys have to finish him off. Although I'm not totally sure that part was necessary. The citizens are still clueless as to how to destroy it. The girls try to get the townsvillians to come to the conclusion to get the monster wet, but it takes much prompting. A fireman finally realizes he can spray it, and the citizens look on in awe at the light show that occurs as the monster is electrocuted and finally explodes. Green globs of goo from the monster are everywhere. The citizens congratulate themselves and say they don't need the girls. The mayor asks the angry girls to clean up the mess. The day is saved, but with no thanks to the girls.
For the most part, this episode truly was about, like, citizens' weaponized incompetence, basically. They should have helped with the monster because, holy shit, it's basically Godzilla. And then they're just like, no, now you must deal with it.
Yeah. I agreed with them stepping away and letting them deal with like some normal everyday stuff, like changing a tire and cleaning out a litter box. But it seemed like as soon as they stepped aside, that monster showed up. And yeah, that was like way too much really for the citizens to handle. It was like accidental that he even wound up in the electrical wires. Again, they are like kindergartners, so how far would they have let it go had he not get stuck? I'm not sure.
Yeah, like their sense of, I don't know if morality or right and wrong is quite exactly there, but like their sense of that is probably isn't like quite cooked in yet. So they might just be like, yeah, you can deal with that all right. I don't see why that's my problem. I'm 6.
And then with them, I mean, I know they know that the other people aren't invincible like they are, but I would say, like, with a 5-year-old having the powers, that it may be easy to forget occasionally that not everyone can bounce back like they do.
Yeah.
Although, like, the city is destroyed, like, constantly, and then the next episode, it's fine. So it's like, I don't know, maybe they're just, like, not super concerned since it's always, like, rebuilt immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because the monster was, like, taking, like, huge bites out of the buildings. And, I mean, even at first, the townsvillians were not super concerned.
Yeah, and they're just like,
They were like, oh,
girls will get it.
he must be hungry.
Yeah. You're like, oh, what an adorable little fella. He's just gonna eat our city.
And I mean, I guess monsters do show up a lot, and then it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. So I think that next two episodes on the DVD are Dream Scheme and You Snooze, You Lose. But it looks like maybe they aired in a different order because when I looked at the Wikipedia, it was showing Beat Your Greens and Down and Dirty as the next two. But I know for a fact that's not how it showed up on the DVD menu.
Okay, we'll just do what's on the DVD.
Yeah. I'm not super looking forward to Dream Scheme. That's kind of one of my least favorite ones, with like the one with the Sandman. I can't remember what You Snooze You Lose is about. I just think they grouped them together because they both were kind of had like sleep.
Yeah, themes
In the titles. But we'll probably be talking about those two next. Yeah. Thank you for checking out the podcast. Hope you've been enjoying the show. And if you've really been enjoying the show, it would be super cool if you haven't already to subscribe and leave us a review. We're always looking for more constructive feedback and just, what do you enjoy about the podcast? What do you enjoy about Powerpuff Girls and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Which birthday presents of the Powerpuff Girls did you like the best? Share with your friends.
Yes. Share with your friends if you're trying to get them into either of the shows or they're already a fan of one or the other, and maybe you're trying to get them into JoJo, but they already like Powerpuff Girls. Or yeah, it'd be super cool though if you did. If you're watching this on YouTube instead of say Apple Podcasts or somewhere where you can leave a review, it would be super cool if you liked, subscribed, and left a comment. And we also have another podcast about what we do in the shadows called What We Pod in the Shadows. There should be a couple episodes showing up in the feed for this one. If you want to check that out, we're discussing the 6th and final season. So that'll be spoiler heavy if you haven't watched the rest of the show. But yeah, check that out too. So I guess until next time, I'll be the roundabout. Goodbye.
Goodbye.